We're breaking away from PBS NewsHour coverage to bring you live local coverage here from Bloomington, Indiana. We're at the media school at Indiana University all throughout the evening to talk a little bit more about the election. We have what was mentioned by PBS NewsHour at the top of their program, Donald Trump being called the winner. Now, this is in Indiana, 62% of the vote, with Hillary Clinton getting 34% of the vote. And now we're going to head over to Lindsay Wright. She is downtown at the Democratic Watch Party at the Indiana Convention Center downtown. Hello there, Lindsay. What's the scene like there?
Hi, Joe. As you can see behind me, people are continuing to fill the room. It's kind of been a slow trickling, but the energy level continues to rise and rise. We've talked to some voters tonight who are extremely excited and confident in their candidates, and the energy is just, you can only explain it as completely excited.
What's the energy like, or now that Trump has been declared the winner in Indiana? Any reaction there at the Democratic headquarters?
Yeah, we've talked to some voters who have said that they're not at all surprised by Trump taking Indiana, but they're confident in Hillary Clinton. They're supporting Hillary Clinton and do think that although it might not be a landslide, Hillary Clinton will win the presidency. As far as our local candidates here in Indiana, John Gregg running for the governor's seat against Eric Holcomb, and Evan Bayh looking to take the Senate seat from Republican Congressman Todd Young. These voters that I've talked to are extremely confident. They've said that it's still early, and they are excited to see what happens. They're really confident in their candidates here tonight.
Hey, Lindsay, really quick before we go, you said you talked to voters. What have voters told you?
Are you asking enough questions about the wealth?
What was that, Joe?
You said that you spoke with voters there. What have they said tonight?
They've just said that they're really excited and that they're supporting numerous candidates. I've talked to some who are particularly paying attention to John Gregg tonight. He's up against Eric Holcomb, like I mentioned, looking to take the governor's office after a 12-year hold on the governor's office for the Republicans. And they've said that they think that he'll take that tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Lindsay. I'm joined here now at the media school by Bernard Fraga, the Indiana University Department of Political Science assistant professor. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of storylines, but what in particular are you looking for tonight?
So I'm looking to see whether Trump is going to perform about as expected in states like Indiana, right? Or if he's going to do a little bit better than we would expect. And if he does a little bit better in a state like Indiana, then we might think that it's going to have an impact on down ballot races for Senate, for governor, and especially for Congress here in the 9th District.
Very early right now, not many returns to talk about, but we know that a lot of people voted.
Yes.
Does that surprise you, and how will that affect what we're going to see tonight?
I think nationwide we've seen a strong increase in early voting. Early voting is up almost everywhere in the country, including in Indiana. And I think that it implies also the turnout is going to be relatively high in this election, not just in terms of registered voters, but in terms of anyone who's eligible to vote. We've seen a lot of voter registration drives on both sides, and I think that's coming to fruition.
You know, election coverage may have not covered all the different areas that people may have wanted. You could talk about environment, people with disabilities, there's human rights. What topics in your mind was not covered enough in these elections?
Well, I think the media is reflecting what the public wants to hear, what they're concerned about. According to the CNN exit poll, which was just released less than an hour ago, people were concerned about Trump's behavior towards women and concerned about Hillary Clinton's emails. Now, are those the critical policy areas that would carry with the candidates if they become president? Probably not, but it's what people wanted to hear. I think there are many other important issues, environment, immigration, other things that could have been discussed more, but we get what we want.
I wanted to ask you too, that with Trump win here in Indiana, do you think that's going to affect, or is that a little bit of a precursor of what we might see elsewhere?
Not really. That was expected. So almost everyone thought that Indiana was going to go for Trump. It's a little early, so maybe it's a little bit earlier than we expected. That might not be a good sign for the Gregg campaign or a good sign for the Evan Bayh campaign. But we'll have to see. We have, I believe, less than 10% of the vote in still. So there's still a good chance for those candidates.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
I think
you.
we have you for a little while longer tonight.
Sure.
If you could hang out with us. I think now we're going back to some returns that we'll show you up here on the screen. U.S. Senate, Todd Young now at 54%. The gap they're closing from what we had earlier, Evan Bayh at 40%. Moving along for Governor Eric Holcomb, again, we're starting to see now as more returns come in at 53% of the vote. Democratic John Gregg, a candidate at 43%. And we might have U.S. House District 9. Talked a lot of reporting on this with Shelley Yoder, the Democrat at 55%, Trey Hollingsworth at 42%. Still early, but this is what we have. And of course, we'll have all of these updates for you at the bottom of the screen. For now, we go back to national coverage with PBS NewsHour.